Hello, can you guys hear me? Hello, is there anybody out there? Oh, thank you, Megan. Okay, good. All right, so people can hear me. Hold on, guys. I got Jackie jumping in real quick. Hello, Susan. Hi, Rissa. Hi, Lilo the Stitch. Hey, guys. Hey, Angry. Hello, Louisiana Mama. Hello, Munch. Hello. Hello, Munchie. Hello, Iva. Shauna, you're not the only one who doesn't believe there's a baby because Jackie still don't believe it and she saw the pics. So you're definitely not the only one. Well, hello, Jackie.
Oh, well, hello, Ivory.
So who just said that? Shauna just said, I still don't believe there's no baby. How do you feel about the baby?
Listen, I don't know.
Jackie feels like she rented a hospital room just to take the picture.
I don't know.
Jackie's still not claiming that she had a baby. She doesn't care. Hello, cowboy. She don't care. There ain't nobody telling Jackie that she had that baby. She's like, no. They're in the hospital with the wristbands on and all that, holding a tiny little baby. I believe that she had the baby, Susan. Jackie, Jackie could have watched it come out of her and she still wouldn't have believed it. But so TMZ, guys, is reporting she had it on the 28th. Isn't that a crazy date? The year anniversary of her getting released from prison will forever be her baby's birthday. How wild is that?
Yeah, it's wild that her mother couldn't even celebrate it with her too.
Yeah, well, there's that. That's true. That's true. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's crazy that all of this went down as accounts were being hijacked, like get hacked, and you know what I mean? And they were playing pranks on her, and you know what I mean? It's just wild that all of this went down, and now her baby's birthday is forever going to be like, oh, honey, it's such a special day. Not only is it your birthday, but it's the day I was released from prison for killing your grandmother. What a memory. What a That's crazy to me.
That hacker story was such a BS moment too. Like, you know how people were saying, like, I bet you she said the baby, and then on Ken's post, Ivory was telling me this morning that Christy commented saying, what was it? Something along the lines of, we can finally tell the world now. And I'm thinking, okay, is that why you were like supposedly hacked to Gypsy?
Yeah.
To cover all that up.
Well, is that the story, Jessie girl? What happened is she got hacked in an instance of cyberbullying, sent her into labor, and she had the baby a month early. That is not what happened. I believe that's what she's going to say happened, though. I really do believe that she's on with that narrative. But I don't know if you guys remember when we first found out she was pregnant, but who called that she was going to have the baby on that day? I did. Ivy Rose No sure did. So it still makes me feel like, is it? I'm still questioning the paternity of the baby. I don't care. Call me nuts. Call me whatever you want to call me. But if you go along with her missing that whole fruit thing, remember when she was doing the whole influencing with the fruit? If you go along with messing with the date, this date coincides with that. And so I really
fruit thing was a mess. Ugh.
Either that or she put herself into labor because she knew she was going to get a tax refund for it and she wanted to be able to claim the baby. Greedy people do greedy things, just saying. The math ain't mathin'.
In America, do you get like... It costs a lot of money to have a baby at a hospital, doesn't it? Like over here, you can pop out as many as you want and it's free if you're like on a pension.
Yeah.
But it costs a lot of money to have a baby, doesn't it? I don't
Yes.
know.
Well, it depends on your insurance and all of that stuff.
Oh.
Ma'am, you did, and I still have the video of me calling I'm telling you, I called that baby's birthday. I saw that one, and I knew it was going to be early because, oh, hello, Archie.
Hello. I didn't think I
So,
was going to make it. I had to do all this setup jargon for this thing. I've never been on here.
oh, really?
Yeah.
What do you think about the baby being born on her jail prison release date?
Isn't that just miraculous?
Right?
Honestly, I think she had the baby prior. That's my belief. I think that's all BS.
You know what? A lot of people do, though. I mean, I'm just saying that's what TMZ is claiming. I don't know that she had the baby on the 28th.
Yeah. I'm thinking it's prior. Because like I said, it doesn't seem. I mean, it's possible. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think so. I think it's planned that way.
Yeah, I feel like I don't. Bree did a live. I don't know if it was a couple. A week ago, week and a half ago. On there saying that they were posting congratulations video. Congratulations like post to Ken and Gypsy, and she's like, that doesn't mean that they had the baby, but that still even puts the baby before the 28th. So I think for a while, I think they were just keeping quiet.
That's what I think. I mean, I don't think they really wanted anyone to know. But like I said, so much junk has happened in the last 30 days that it's almost like it was a planned event. All this stuff. So, I mean, I could believe it. At the same time, 50% of me thinks it's just a planned event. I think Lifetime helped it out to make this seem like it was something it wasn't. When in reality, we don't really know what's going on. That's what I think.
I agree. I'm telling you guys right now, Lifetime is setting up the creators to be the bullies. We are going to be the reason that this woman had a premature labor, and I honestly don't believe it's premature. But I'm telling you, that's what the setup is coming down. That's what it's going to be. That's going to be the storyline for this next season.
Well,
I think
her story was she was never going to show us the baby, but yet she posted on Ken. You know, she like threw Ken under the bus, made Ken post the picture.
Because of course the baby had to be posted, and it couldn't come from Gypsy. So of course it had to come from Ken. And notice TMZ. You think they didn't notify TMZ immediately? Come on, they absolutely.
Yeah, because she only recently did a video saying, "Oh, well, I don't want the baby on camera. I don't want this. I don't want that." And then bang, here we go. We get a very picture, and it's already online. What lie is that?
Ivory, did you hear Christy saying she's going to sue everyone who wanted to buy the hacked account? You know what? Bring it on, because if you go ahead, number one, it's called extortion. Know your laws. Well, Christy, I know my laws. Extortion is I didn't buy it. So
well, first off, it was your own stupidity for allowing them to break in your account in the first place. If it was fished through an email and she was dumb enough to click on it, lose her account, then you didn't do anything to try to get it back from TikTok by proving who you are and what you are in order to get that account back. Then it's your own fault. You know what I'm saying? And if somebody decides they want to buy it, oh, boo-hoo, make another friggin' account. You can't sue them for doing something at an offer. I mean, come on now.
That's what I'm saying. Not even that. Go ahead. Make sure that if you sue me, you sue Ken, who also has it in writing and posted that he tried to buy the account. Julie Recap did. A lot of people had communications with that hacker. So sue us all. Go ahead. But make sure you're ready for a lawsuit for slander when I am not accused of extortion. So there's that. Make sure you're ready for that one. So they make no sense. Like, of course they're going to sue the money hungries, but who they won't sue is the doctors they're accusing of medical malpractice, where they hundreds of surgeries she supposedly had that she's claiming she had that she didn't actually have. That's who she won't sue, though. But bring it on, because we'll see who's got more money to keep those lawyers in court at the end of the day. Bring it on, Gypsy Rose.
That is the best point. Well, you won't sue the doctors, but yet you want to sue Miss Ivory Rose for suggesting that you'd buy an account off a hacker, which you never sent him any messages, but yet Julie Recap, her biggest offender, posted them, you know what I mean? Sent him
did
messages and
Ken.
shit like that.
Ken offered to buy it, and honestly, he was only willing to pay, what was it, $200? Because he's like, I ain't paying $500 for it. He didn't even feel Gypsy was worth $500. He was like, nah, man, I'll do two.
Yeah, I would have waited to see somebody try to attempt to buy it, and the reason why is, and I'm going to say it again, and I hope it's not against the YouTube algorithm or anybody in the who's watching. But the bottom line is, most people on TikTok, when it comes to foreigners, for some reason that they have a lot of background in hacking and JavaScript and all that stuff. They're really smart with that stuff. And a lot of them, what they do is they say, oh, yeah, send me this and I'll get you followers. I'll give you this. I'll give you that. And the minute you send them what they want, they go, okay, now this is what I'm not making. So now you need to send me 4 more gifts. 10 to 1, they'll take the money. You'll never get what you want. There's no guarantee. It's not like PayPal where you can give money and say, okay, well, I can get my product. So give me my money back. No, it doesn't work that way. Once you send that money, it's gone. So you might not even get the product anyway.
Yeah. Well, who doesn't know that? Like,
how did the hacker know to go live with
in no way going to PayPal a hacker.
Yeah. I mean, a hacker turns around, they see everyone hates GRB and sees 9.8 million friggin' followers. Why wouldn't he go in there? Because if he goes live, part of that 9.8 million followers are going to be in the room and go, oh my God, Gypsy Rose got hacked, and freak out. So therefore, he has an opportunity. It's like almost like a scammer calling and saying, hi, I'm offering Medicaid. Are you willing to pay this much a month? And an old person actually falling for it. It's the same thing. Nobody knows. So, I mean, he's not going to do it on an account that's 5,000 friggin' followers. It ain't going to happen that way. He ain't going to make any money
but
that
Archie,
way.
his best bet, right, wouldn't have been to do that. His best bet was to, like, he could have gone live and just walked around somewhere, and people could have gifted him. Why would he put his Rusty Risk hacker thing in? How did he know to go to Kesha's live? Yeah, okay, people told him to go to Ivory's, but, like, the thing is, going live and negotiating with 10,000 people watching, it was a joke. It literally was like, you know what I mean? Like, no one can tell me.
When she can prove I paid for the account which she supposedly has back. And if she has it back, then she knows there were no correspondence in the message section between me and said hacker. So make sure if you're going to threaten to sue me for extortion, you have proof, number 1, and number 2, be prepared for a countersuit for slander and defamation.
Yeah, make it make sense. There's that.
There's that.
Like, and not to mention, Ivory posted her entire 6-hour live, which I watched because I wasn't in the live for the whole time. Nowhere does she make a correspondent with this man. So have fun trying to sue her.
Exactly.
Oh, I got it on recording. Her saying it. Bitch, I'll hand you the whole 6-hour video. Here you go. There ain't nobody trying to hide it from you. I posted it. Go, take it to your lawyers. Let's see what your lawyers have to say. The ones who don't like to pick up your cases. Go take it to them, and let's see what they got to say. Bring it.
And not only that, don't even go targeting Gypsy, because it would have been anybody. It would have been anybody, because anybody that would have looked at the messages in that account would have had so much information. So I don't think it would have just been Ivory. You would have to sue at least 200 people on here because they all wanted that information.
The father of her own child. and I'm going to tell you right now, you better be prepared that when you lose that lawsuit, that this is extortion you're suing me for, I will have content for freaking ages. Just know I will roll with it, and you will be the pun of all of my fucking jokes. You will destroy your own. Well, you've already destroyed yourself. I can't even destroy you.
Ivory made a really good point to me this morning. She said, check out the bio. So the bio of Gypsy's used to say, finish now, love hearts. And then Gypsy gets the account back. Is that not him telling her, hey, it's finished, I've done what I need to do for you, there's the account back type thing? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think she would have been smart enough to get a friggin' hacker to do that. I mean, yeah, the timing was kind of wacky. I get it.
Do you really think that hacker was true, that whole story? I don't.
No, you know what? I think I'm 50-50. Jackie, I'm 50-50 on you. Want to know, like I said, foreigners are smart enough to go out there and get information, especially to go on big named accounts with big followers. Why? Because they just want money. Now, who knows for what purpose?
Hacked. Do you know what I mean? This is the second time she's been hacked. And did you see that bio message? It was like she was trying to he was trying to tell her, like, hey, it's finished now. Do you know what I mean? Like, what hacker that you've ever seen goes live with people like Ivory, Cash, all Gypsy haters, and tries to do negotiations? Do you know what I mean?
But like, it depends on how much. Like, all right, like for instance, before I got involved in this, if you once you follow Ivory Rose and you find out about GRB, you also see everybody repost the videos and everything else. So therefore, you see how much popularity this person actually has. So it wouldn't have been hard for him to follow, God forbid, Bree, Cash, Jenna, anybody who had been, or even myself, talking about GRB and following what is being said between all of them. 50% of me believes they were doing it for their own monetary value, and the other 50, I don't really think GRB would have been smart enough to go catch somebody in Turkey who possibly would not have been a hacker to do all this, especially to throw out one video message or whatever, the message itself, showing that she said she doesn't want to go back to prison, she doesn't, because she did this thing with her, her mother and all that stuff. That could have been true, and what Brian could have said was true. The only problem that's there is there's no timestamp, there's no date stamp. But it does look like a TikTok message. I mean, unless it's AI created, which can be possible. But I don't think Jip would have been friggin' smart enough to go out and get a hacker of that magnitude to do that. Two, whoever you had on the live that I wasn't a part of that was claiming to be the hacker's not going to turn around and put himself out there and say, I am who I am, so he can be tracked down. Hacker's not like that. But everyone will try to take credit for it, though. They all will. You know what I'm saying?
This music. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Hey, how are you?
Good. I just thought I'd drop by for a little bit. I read the unfortunate news that Gypsy had her baby, and I was like, oh God, shit's really going to hit the fan even more than normal.
Right? God. Supposedly on the 28th is what CMZ is reporting.
And it also contradicts the first time she said she was going to have her baby in January. Now she has it in December, literally a year after she got released.
To the day. Didn't she get released the 28th?
Yeah, I believe so.
Right? Her baby's birthday, you mean to tell me, is now commemorates like not only the birth of her baby, this date also commemorates the day she was released from prison for killing her mother.
Also, I really appreciate you making that video for her mom. I
like absolutely.
That. Yeah, because Dee Dee deserves that. That is she deserves that.
You know, it's so sad that she's trying. I mean, I get she took Dee Dee out of this world. She murdered her, right? But you're sitting there now trying to replace her with Christy, trying to act like there is no memory of her, like she never existed, and you can't do that. No matter what, she exists. And I hope that Gypsy looks down at her baby girl, knowing how much she loves her, and knows that that's exactly how Dee Dee looked at her, and you killed her. That she loves you as much as you love your baby, and you killed her. So, yep.
The thing I hope for, and I know Gypsy's probably not going to do it because she wants to erase Dee Dee for as much as possible, unless of course it benefits her narrative, is the fact that like I would respect a whole lot more. Obviously it doesn't undo anything she's done, and I'm not saying she would be like a better person, but I would at least respect the attempt is to just be honest and say, your grandmother's out of the equation because I took part in killing her. Would that be hard to say to a child? Yes. But, you should always be honest with your child, especially when it comes to things like that. And I'm not a parent, but I'm just saying that's important for any parent to do.
Yeah, let me tell you, when you lie to kids about stuff like that and they grow up and they learn the truth, they will resent you for it. Absolutely, they will resent you for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I think this whole thing is just wild. It all of it just happened at the same time. Like the fake break-in, like didn't they? I mean, maybe they were the ones who put her in premature labor because we're going to get blamed for it. But You know what I
had
mean?
to know she fell for that C-section. Yeah, I saw Becca Scoops made a video about it, and I agree with everything she said in that video because I was thinking the same thing.
Yes, if you guys have not seen Becca Scoop's new video, guys, she dropped a new video. I was so excited to see it. So if you guys haven't watched it, make sure you guys go ahead and watch that because yeah, it was a great video. But yeah, I don't know. This whole thing I do too. I love me some Becca. But this whole thing
This child has everything stacked against it. I feel honestly the only reason I'm excited is because like obviously it's a child, but I also just hate the fact that this child has everything in the world against it.
this baby is going to walk through the rest of its life with the crimes and the sins of Gypsy Rose on its shoulders. And that is really sad.
And it also says basically what we were all thinking too, where Ken and TMZ they all immediately posted the birth of their baby and stuff like that, which is literally the first sign that they're gonna use this baby to Bennett to the same way that Gypsy's been doing basically since she's got out.
Absolutely.
Like Ivory had said from the start, maybe if Gypsy Rose's, stepmother and Rod didn't do all these Mummy, Dead and Dearest documentaries and try and make money off the girl while she was in prison the whole time, and then she gets out and jumps on TikTok, maybe that baby would have had a good life because no one would have given a fuck about Gypsy Rose. But the whole family, including Gypsy, made her who she is today. Do you know what I mean?
So this baby's gonna have a life of a living hell. Because, like I said, it's kind of, I mean, it's one thing if like you were like naughty in your past, or whatever. But this is a whole different ball game. She's a schmur. I mean, how the hell do you explain that to her? And how is it she's not going to walk life saying your mom's this, your mom's that? You know what I'm saying? If either she's going to be a product of it, or it's going to become something that's going to be life ruining.
I agree because it's like what you just said. It's one thing if your past just involved you being like rebellious or just maybe you did something really bad or had a bad consequence. Like everyone's done it. Like we all have our own fair share of dirty laundry. But there's a difference between that and literally going the extra mile with the dirty laundry and essentially doing like murder. That's not a mistake. That's not something you can just come out and say, hey, I've learned. Like, no, that's a completely different scale. And considering the ethics of both of this child's parents, like, and even like her dad, like, Ken stole a woman from another man and then got a murderer pregnant. What does that say for the ethics of him too? And is also even though he is like, even though he is, being controlled to an extent, he still chose to like, to be a part of this circus. So it's like,
Exactly. And like I said, that this child, I mean, I don't want to be the guy that says it, but I mean, I have to be. That only one of three things are going to happen in this situation. Normal isn't going to be one of them. Two, it's either going to be she'll become a product of it, God forbid, from the mental structure, whatever mom tells or teaches, or option three, it's going to be changing their name or offing themselves. I'm sorry, because if I had a mother like that, I was born into this world. I don't even know. I would friggin' move to a place where I'd never have to hear about it again. And where would you go? What, are you going to be in a cave for the rest of your life? Come on now. That's crazy.
My biggest worry is the mental distress this child's going to have when it gets older. And kids deal with mental, like, obviously, like, mental health is like a really tricky thing because the range of it can vary between people, but especially when you're a kid and you're just in a phase of like your emotions are like wonky and out of control at times.
Yeah.
Like, just imagine all that emotional distress she's going to have with considering who her parents are and then learning about her grandmother and all this stuff that's been happening involving her mother. Like, this child's mental capacity is going to really concern me. And I'm not saying this as like in like a mean or crude way, and I do want what's best for the baby, but
Mhm.
mentally, when you have parents and the situations they've been in,
Yeah.
you can't really, it's not really like
Not
you
healthy.
can't really blame someone for being pessimistic about it.
Yeah, plus you don't know what she's going to fill the kid's head up with in the first place. Is it going to be the truth? Is it going to be a lie? Most likely, it's going to be a lie, and then
She's
she's going to hear
admitted
from everyone else.
both. That she first admitted she was not going to say anything, and then she was going to tell the baby the truth. But you know what gets me as a mother? Here she is crying because we're calling her out for truths, and we, the creators, are the bullied, right?
Yeah.
You think that your child is not going to be bullied? You think you haven't set this child up for lifelong, to be bullied by every child in every grade because kids hear parents talk. We're all
Yeah.
going to talk about the kid. Oh, that's so and so's kid. The murderer, the one who murdered her mother. She's
Yeah.
going to be known as the murderer's child. Kids are
Yeah.
going to hear parents talk. That child will be bullied for the rest of its life. It's
Yeah.
Not
going to
only that too, that says a lot as well when you consider the fact that what happens in a situation like that when the child gets bullied? Look at how her parents respond to drama. That's not exactly a good look for your child if they're in a situation where they're bullied. Are you going to teach them to do the same thing? Or are you going to teach them to, clap back and pull all the stuff you're pulling? Like, that's
Exactly.
not a good image.
I mean,
right.
God forbid, and God forbid. I mean, and this is another weird thing too. You don't want to say like mother, like daughter in certain situations, but what if it got that bad? And let's say she, for some reason, turned a little bit. What do you think's going to happen next if she learns what her mom did that she can't do it herself? And that's rare. That's lightly rare to happen. But what to say with all the traumatic experiences that they'll turn into that situation? Come on now. But
Right.
I don't think it's. I mean, look, everyone has the right type of child. I'm up with that and all that stuff, but I think this is a bad situation. Bringing a child into the world, but this situation's still going on. It hasn't been long enough yet, and two, like you haven't been cleared of your name. So,
Yeah.
oh, how can you do that? And would you think the book was going to help change the minds of others when we all really know it's all lies? And once people realize and learn about that, what kind of life are you giving this child? How is this
Yeah.
allowed to happen? I
Yeah.
don't get it. It don't make
Why
sense.
why would you bring a child into this entire situation that you yourself created? Why would you bring a child into the scandalous affair? The child is born bastard now because you wanted to cheat on your husband. You're
Mhm.
sitting there questioning all of us for questioning who the father is, but yet look at you. Look what you did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You created all of this scandal. You created all of this talk. You proudly went on, you know, like social media and television, proudly claiming how you cheated on your husband and the mistress or the mister is in fact the baby daddy. Like it's just wild. So not only is it the fact that she's a murderer that this child has to, live in that shadow, but the child's also got to live in the shadow of that she's a product of a scandalous affair that she did so publicly. You know what I mean? It's crazy to me. And that child has got to live with that for the rest of its life. So, yeah, it really is.
And then what does that say about like if the child grows up and decides to want to experience things like relationships and then all of a sudden like sees her parents past and thinks, maybe I can cheat on my spouse and then have a kid that way. I'm not saying that that's exactly how it'll go, but like when you're soon to be parents or you want to have decisions like that, those are things you have to think of. before you have a kid. Like, yeah, you're gonna have dirty laundry, from your past, but like whenever you have a kid, that now's the time to step up and be more responsible about how you're going to handle it. And I don't think the first step is to literally have a child by cheating on your spouse.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then here you are again talking about how that baby is not going to be in the public eye. And what's the first thing they do is they post it on social media and they run right to TMZ. It's, I don't know. Imagine how it is being Ryan right now. Could you guys imagine how Ryan feels right now? Like, he loved her. You know what I mean? And he had this whole picture of what his life was going to be like. And it's nothing like he thought it was going to be. He wanted to have a baby with her. He wanted to do all of this. And here she is having a baby with another man. Like, my heart really goes out to Ryan. I feel so bad for him. Not only the child, but Ryan, because the embarrassment he had to succumb to because of all this. It's so sad. She's ruined so many lives. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's absolutely wild.
I mean, I'm kind of mixed on Ryan because, like, in the beginning, I could kind of get it. Like, despite me feeling a bit iffy about how he came to, approach her and then became married to her in prison and stuff. That's just my perspective. I mean, Ken basically did the same thing, but except he didn't marry her. But like, in spite of that, I can kind of get in the beginning, after like he was just cheated on. He had just broke, like, they had just separated, and people kind of grieve in different ways. Sometimes, people will like obsessively talk about a person as a way to, like, it's kind of like they're moving on, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I can get that, but then like when he starts trying to defend her and stuff later, and then still like refuses to do it, like, and I can see admiring it because it shows class and stuff, but there's an extent to where I think it goes like from that to like he's clearly like almost simping for her basically, and that's kind of where it muddles the sympathy for me. Like, obviously, yes, I do feel sympathy for the fact that he was cheated on, there's no doubt about that. It's just the way he's continued to act in regards to the everything and still tries to defend her that I'm a bit on.
I hate the fact that he's so in love with her. In my mind, he'll still take her back, It's like,
Yeah,
remember
I don't
his
think it's just love, though.
like
I
I
think
said,
it's a little more than that.
Thank
yeah,
you,
I
Fire.
oh my
I
bad.
mean, me personally, I think it's not just love. I think there's, because of the fact, like I said in a video prior on TikTok, I think it's the clout of being around a schmur. They went from not so much popularity to now they're getting hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views. Of course, they have a social media account between the both of them. I mean, there might be some type of love from the past, but I think now just being with them just gives them popularity and clout. And honestly, like I said before, who else would be dumb enough to go with a schmur, having to look behind their back on a constant basis, worried about a tool in the back or food being poisoned, or maybe something happening to sleep when something goes wrong? How, as a man, can you mentally put yourself in that situation? It makes no sense. Why would you do that? You know?
Yeah, I've seen the argument that people have used is like, well, you're going to hate on Ryan and Ken for, clearly bending over backwards for Gypsy when Nick does the same. But the difference is that, Nick has a lot of mental health issues and was clear, and that the idea of loving her was clearly something that she planted into him to make him a yes man regardless of what she did to him.
Oh,
Like, his
absolutely.
his mental capacity makes it. That's what makes the scale different between the Nick and the two of them.
Well, you're absolutely right because she introduced Nick to a lot of new things that he might have been privy to prior, but a little bit more in depth, and he flowed with it. You would get well, if you're younger, of course. Men get infatuated with sex all the time. Okay, so if he's never had something like of that magnitude, of course, where he can imagine things and act out his beliefs and be the person she wants him to be groomed to be, then eventually you're going to get used to that because you know if you leave, you're not going to get that from anywhere else. So yeah, him being in love and infatuated or lusting on her is not impossible. It really isn't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's because I've seen people say that, and I was just like, no, like Nick's situation is different from Ryan and Ken's. Like, you have to consider other things with Nick as to why his, love for Gypsy is different than the other two, Like, it's a completely different thing.
You also got to remember, he was groomed into loving her. There was a reward for loving her. You know what I mean? Like he was lacking something, and he got that from her.
Exactly.
So,
but whereas like Ryan and Ken, it's a little bit different. I mean, they might have had a past situation before she did whatever she done, but like for you, like all right, like for instance, what was it? Ryan didn't want to do any research on what Gypsy's real past was. Like he didn't want to believe it. He only wanted to believe because of what he remembered her to be probably prior to prison. But it's like, dude, why would you? What? And it's like, are you desperate? And that's what I start to believe. I'm like, dude, you must be desperate just to have her around, and you're willing to look past what really happened. How can you do that? I don't get it.
That's the same with Ken, though. Ken also said that he didn't look into her past and didn't ask any questions or any of that, which is why the woman was in for murder. How are you just going into relationships and marrying and having children with a woman who was in prison for murder, like a heinous crime?
Yeah, that's what I meant by like it really shows Ken's ethics because he admits that the thing that endeared him to her, like even if it wasn't regardless if it was a romantic endeavor or just just to talk, the fact that he saw her documentary and then decided, yeah, that's the kind of person I want to write and make a connection with, and then obviously their connection turned into romance, but like that just kind of shows you the moral ethics of Ken, the fact that he considered a person that's a convicted felon who has a documentary, that's interesting enough to write to someone and be interested in them.
Well, yeah, for clout, because it might make you more popular. Maybe that's the reason why. That's why I said I think it's all love. I think it's because of the fact that she's now gained popularity because of everything that's happened, whether they want to believe that or not. And now they're a part of Lifetime, and they have to be making something at this. You know what I'm saying? So the only reason to be around right now is for the popularity and the money. Because what happened with Ryan after friggin' Gypsy and him separated? All of a sudden, he's doing videos with other girls, and they're still kind of technically together. But do you think he cares? No, he's getting popularity because who knows what his life was before? I mean, he could have been like, what do you call that? Like when you're not really too wanted for whatever reason. He could have had one of those lives prior to Gypsy anyway. Now all of a sudden he's getting the popularity, so now he's going to lose weight. He's going to look better for other women, whereas before he didn't really want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So it could be for the clout.
Yeah, she validated Ryan.
Like that, and she's not going to go to anyone else because of the fact the only two people she had, well, three, pardon me, Nick, Ryan, and Ken. Okay, so she's going to keep bouncing back and forth because there's no other gentleman callers knocking on her door saying, "Hey, I want to be with you. I believe in nothing." There's no way. So 1 minute's going to be Ken, next minute's going to be Ryan, and then when Ryan gets pissed and they get in a war, she's going to run back to Ken, and eventually, somewhere along the line, Ken or Ryan is going to finally be with somebody else, and the story's going to get out to somebody else, and it's going to be another person on our side as opposed to the Gypsy Rose side. You know what I'm saying? But when she runs out of people, who does she go to next? That's the question.
Well, Steve Ryan's always going to take her back. Look at that message that the hacker put out, or whoever it was that put out. I believe those first two messages were real. It didn't say much, give us much information, but it did show that they're still messaging each other. How are you sitting there divorcing a man with another man, but yet you're still responding and giving messages and telling him you want to meet up, and you know what I mean? All of that. That's wild to me, but you're keeping Ryan on the back burner because you know he'll take you back at any time.
Exactly, because of infatuation. Like I said, no matter who he's with, he still has an infatuation towards her as well as Ken does. At any time, she can go right back to Ken, kiss his butt, and bang, Ken will take her right back.
Now, what causes this infatuation is what I want to know. Why do these men become so infatuated with her that they're willing to just sit in the background as you're sleeping with another man and having babies out in the public, waiting for you to come back? Like, what do they do that she deserves?
It's got to be sex. Men are, well, offense, men don't always think with their head.
I mean, how good is that they're willing to let you go out and cheat on them and they're still waiting for you to come back? Like, that's some sex. I'm just saying.
That means you're offering something that they like and they enjoy. I mean, from a male perspective, like I said, if you offer something that nobody else is offering and it's that much fun and that much cool, then I'm lusting you. I'm not really in love with you. I think I love you, but it's more lust than love. Okay, so of course, every time that the opportunity is there, oh my God, I'll have her back. I can do this, that, and this. You can't tell me she's a ball of fun to go out with to dinner. You can't tell me she's a ball of fun to watch TV with. I mean, come on now. Because you know as much as I do, if you have the popularity you do on TikTok or Facebook or any of these places, that your mind is more tuned to that than real life. You know what I'm saying? Your life's a book to the world of the internet. So tell me what the enjoyment is for your significant other. There isn't.
Yeah, I just feel like if it's just for sex, it's got to be some crazy, like, I mean, what is she, double jointed? Like, what's the secret that they can't just go find that sex somewhere else? That's what I want to know. Like,
what about the role playing? What about all the friggin' the side piece, the side people she can be? She can be friggin' one girl. She can be another girl. She can put on a wig. She can be Barbara Streisand next. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
Maybe a train tracks. I guess you're right there. There's no.
Yeah. If you can play a role and change the value of sex to any man, so sex isn't boring and just, wham, bam, thank you, man, by being whoever they enjoy you to be, changing your voice or being a person or acting evil, that's actually a thing for men, especially women. So, I mean, because of that, I mean, sex would always be fun, I would think,
Yeah, I mean, but how do you, I want to know, like, dude, she wore diapers until she was 23 and drank a baby bottle. Is that really attractive for men? Like, I want to see you wear a pull-up and drink from a...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, Ken, do you not see that your baby mama used to wear pull-ups and wore a diaper until she was 23?
That's what I'm saying.
See that and then be like, that's who I want to be my baby mama.
Yeah, but it seems like the older men get, the more disgustinger they get. Like when you get in your 30s and 40s and 50s, you want somebody a little younger, and you want somebody that'll act out a role. I mean, I'm sure some of you have seen it where friggin' there's an older man with a woman who dressed in diapers, acting like a baby goo gaga with a bottle in her mouth.
I'm the same age as Ken, and I'm repulsed by that.
So some men are just crazy. It's just weird.
I love my husband, but I would never put on a baby diaper and stuck on a baby bottle for him. That's where I draw the line. Like that, I will not do that. That's just wild to me. And the fact that a man could be attracted to the whole go shit in a diaper and drink from a baby bottle would be off to him. Yeah. Like, that's what you want? Like, that's gross to me.
There's so many different infatuations in the world. I mean, remember back in the day? I'm sure you remember. Like, we all heard about it. Remember 2 Girls, 1 Cup? How many people fucking went for that? Think about that. That's how disgusting people can be.
Yeah.
So never underestimate the power of human curiosity and human stupidity.
Right, that's the truth, though. That is, that's wild.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never.
I mean, since obviously she don't have money. I mean, she said it. She doesn't have money. Even with all this popularity going around, I'm like, dude, but why is she a multimillionaire? But she said she still is not that popular or rich. All she wants, she doesn't want to do for malpractice, but she wants her teeth back. She doesn't have the money. And you know what? Chrissy can talk all she wants. Who wears the same shirt every day? You can be bully all you want, but it doesn't mean you have it. Come on now.
Yeah,
I'm
she
sorry. That's
doesn't
me.
have as much money as they're making people think she does. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Which is why they're out here trying to do lives and they're begging for crap. They ain't got that kind of money.
Yeah, I mean, they might get it because of the book. I mean, whatever the hell the commission is against the 40% they might get from Amazon, that's the 60 that Amazon's taking. But
Yeah,
beyond that, like I said, I mean, with the book and whatever's going on TikTok, which you're only making half of anyway, if you are making anything, you're technically making pocket change. But what are you really making money on? The only thing is Lifetime. Who knows what Lifetime is paying for that story? And the story they're making up. That's the
true.
question.
Yeah, I don't know. She said she's paying bills. What bills? I don't know what bills she's paying. She lives with her mommy or her stepmommy and daddy. So what bills? She ain't got a car. She ain't got, I mean, she got a cell phone. That's all she
Mhm.
got. Like,
Yeah.
what bills is this chick paying? What,
Yeah,
you know what I
that's
mean?
what I was wondering. It's like what she constantly keeps mentioning she has to pay bills, but what bills does she pay?
I mean, maybe she's paying toward the house of living with Rod and friggin' and Christy.
She did
Maybe
that. They all got paid for her fake story. How much more do they want to pay her? Do they want her to pay them?
Well, yeah, because usually when you become a part of a TV situation, especially one that monitors your life on a constant, they gotta pay good money for that, especially if they have to add in um pillow stuffing to the story, of course, to make it look tragic or not tragic or whatever, making drama. They usually pay a lot of money for that. They're not just gonna say, here, we're gonna give you 800 a week. Let's screw your whole entire life up. That's not true. No way. Lifetime make
Yeah,
more money than that. Come on now. They're on
I
the
don't know.
contract. They're making money.
They're all making money. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's just crazy.
it is.
Ken was
Yeah.
straight pay. Oh my gosh. I can't be reading these comments. These guys are kidding. She was, yeah, $12,000. She ain't paying that PR company anymore, guys. Red Banyan went out the window. She can't afford it. She might have been able to afford it if she was able to figure out what month fruit we were on, but she is no longer able to afford it. What income does she have? What I want to know is, what is her job now? Somebody tell me what Gypsy Rose's job is. Like,
Liar.
she gets 6 weeks maternity leave, and then what is she going to do in 6 weeks? What is her job? She's not filming anymore because it's already showing, the show is already coming up. So she's not filming anymore. The book has already been written, and she's not an influencer on social media. So somebody tell me, what is this chick's job in 6 weeks? She's off maternity leave.
There's not going to be one because she has no prior experience on everything. All that life that she had, even into her friggin' her 20 years. I mean, who the hell would be smart enough to hire her? I mean, knowing what the story truly is, unless they want to get their own business based on GRB working there, which will actually happen. I mean, look what happened with the bookstore. I mean, come on now. They weren't falling for any of the lies or BS. Why? Because they wanted money. They were blinded by greed. So
Yeah.
that's the
I
only
mean,
people who can hire now.
she's on parole until June. She has to have a job as part of her parole.
Mhm.
So in 6 weeks, this chick needs to come up with some kind of job title. Because right now she ain't doing much of anything. So,
Yeah, but doesn't friggin' a creator consider being a title of a job? I mean,
but she's no longer doing content
for now, you don't know. I
for
mean, you
now.
don't know. She could be setting up something in the background beyond Lifetime that she'll be on and about. I mean,
Oh,
who knows?
don't even speak that into the universe there, Archie. Don't even put that out there that she's working with another network trying to come up with another show, because I wouldn't put it past them.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
what I'm trying to say. It's possible because let's say they saw what they saw on Lifetime. They see how much viewership and everything else. So they get any information on that, I wouldn't doubt that the next place would actually, the next channel would turn around, a drama network, of course, come out and friggin' take her in. Lifetime's one of the major drama networks. So think of a couple more that are on cable. Netflix, maybe Hulu. You never know.
yeah, but a reality show, like, who wants to watch this nonsense?
Uh,
Time is only her job when she's filming. She's no longer filming.
like I said, give it time. Give enough people to watch it. Get enough freaking producer to watch it. See if they can make up a story about it. And see how much many more. Usually, when one goes, a bunch of them go. You don't just get like, all right, not to be political, because the only
Where'd you go?
Hello?
I don't know where he went.
Netflix. It's all over the place. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why is because they want to put out their own story and get their own views from it. So it's not impossible. But I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to see it. But I mean, at the same given point, I mean, it's not impossible.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I just feel like she needs to come up with something because I am so sick of Parole letting her just go with whatever. You know what I mean? She gets
See,
away with much.
I don't understand why, with all the information against her that everyone's figured out, and anybody who has the keys to the situation, they don't relook at the case and reopen it back up with speculation against the hacker email and everything else, anything else they can try to possibly prove to see if there's anything different in the situation. Because you know what? A lot of words were said, especially that hacker thing, whether you want to believe it or not. That's hard to make up something like that, especially what Brian said to her and what she said back, and her saying she don't want to go back to prison because she did something. That's some big stuff right there.
And
Yeah,
here's
but I
the
don't
thing.
think that's real.
Well, that's
Go
the
ahead.
problem. We don't know.
I was going to say, here's the thing with me too. She gets a lot of freedom, even though she's on parole compared to anyone else who's on parole. And I
Mhm.
know, like, some people will say, well, it's because it's a part of her job and the show and stuff. But even with that, that's still a lot of freedom that she gets. Like, she gets to travel, like to different states and stuff like that. Like, going to see Ken's family and everything, like, come on, like, that's clearly like anyone would just go and see someone's family when you're with them. Like, I seriously, yeah, I think that she just gets way too much freedom compared to someone who's any person that would be on parole.
You're absolutely right. And she has way too much pain to hang herself with. But the point that nobody's really looking into any information of anything that's going on. I mean, but then again, it's all dependent on the judge and the state too. Like each state is different. I mean, if she would have been in the state of New York or state of New Jersey, maybe the sentence would have been different. But it's all dependent on what's going on. She freaking got a good plea deal, and she buried somebody, and now he's screwed for life. Even though he was willed into the situation. I'm saying everyone's got a mental capacity of their own. I don't think what he did was right, but he did out of infatuation, lust, or love, whichever one it is. But he's walking away with the friggin' the garbage in his hand while she roams free and gets whatever the hell she wants. And she only got a small amount of time, but yet, I mean, really? Any other place would have given her friggin' at least 30 or 40 years. Come on now.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense. First of all, she was facing life. She should have gotten life in prison. There's no way that they gave her this plea deal with this false abuse nonsense. Like, they took my abuse into account. Did they really?
Yeah.
You know, that's just crazy to me.
Yeah,
And the thing,
it's up.
you didn't take Nick's life into account. So,
Well, she buried some. I mean, but then, like, I'm not to say in portray movies, but I mean, like, look at that movie, Law Abiding Citizen. It took one guy. No, like I said, no, it's not real life, but think of it this way: it almost sounds the same. It took one guy to out the other, saying, "Well, he had everything to do with it. I had nothing to do with it." He didn't go to prison. The other guy got freaking the injection and offed him, all because he turned around and took a plea deal. So therefore, like I said, she's like, okay, well, it's all him, it's not me. And somebody had to go down to it, had to be him. And there it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like I said, it all depends on law and who is presiding judge of the ordeal and who wants to, pursue it further. I think the trial should have went on at least 6 months and found fact-finding information. I don't think it should have went a week or two or a couple of days. That screw it, that's the end of it. I think that's kind of like it's messy, really,
yeah, his trial was horrible.
Yeah, totally.
His trial was, that's, but again, there's the fact that I also feel like people who aren't as wealthy don't get a fair chance either. He didn't come from a wealthy family.
That's a systemic issue, and I have like major issues with that. Like, I mentioned it a few times on Morbid's panel. I have a major issue with people that have less money. Clearly, like, obviously they can have the laws applied to them, but if you have money, all of a sudden it doesn't. And then there's
Right.
also the thing where the same thing applies to police and how a lot of things with them is a double standard. Like, it's clearly fine if they do this, but it's not fine if you do that. And that's a whole other can of worms and a different conversation entirely. But I feel Nick's case is very like much that, like, not only because of the lack of money thing, but he's a clear case of how people with mental health issues or disabilities either don't get advocated for in the same way people from other groups do, or they're just kind of seen as like they're basically second class citizens, which really bothers me. And because no one can watch that interrogation video and tell me Nick clearly doesn't have comprehension issues. I'm sorry, but if someone comes out with that and say Nick doesn't, they clearly don't know anything about mental health issues, because I could literally tell just by listening to the way he talks he had comprehension issues.
He comprehend. I mean, come on. I mean, he was smart enough to know certain things, and
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I'm talking about as far as like his capacity. Like, yeah, he knows right from wrong and stuff like that, but I'm talking about like you could tell he was a little slow, and I'm not saying that in a mean way or derogatory sense or anything.
No, he was autistic. I mean, each one
Yeah.
has their own set of ticks and things that go on with that situation. I mean, but like the way he spoke and the way he articulated his conversation, he knew right from wrong. It just he fell for love. He fell for love or
Yeah.
infatuation, and that fueled him to do what he's going to do. And he warned others. He warned, what was it, his sister he spoke to, saying, "Look, I might have to do this because this is going on, that's going wrong. But you know, at the same time, I'd rather her not do it." So he was valuing right from wrong prior to even doing anything. You know, but in the end, he didn't want to lose Jip because of whatever threat she was putting out. So of course he went, "Okay, I'll do it. All right, done deal." You know, this is what's going to make you happy and whatever. So she poisoned him in technicality.
So Jenna said, would she be technically on maternity leave from her job as influencer, author, and public figure? Yes, for 6 weeks she would get a maternity leave. After that, she would have to have a job. She would have to go back to work. But yeah, I don't know. I know. And you guys in the chat, you guys are all welcome to come up here. I keep dropping the StreamYard link, so if you guys want to come up and chat, you're more than welcome to. I just wanted to put that out there because I know a lot of people are asking.
Yeah, it'd be cool to hear a couple of you guys, whether or not you have different ideas or thoughts on the situation.
Yeah. I'm just curious because I don't know. I just feel like Parole keeps letting her get away with a whole bunch of crap, and I'm so sick of this. You know what I mean? 6 weeks to see you with a job in 6 weeks. I do, however, I do want to make one statement though. I know the other day Gypsy Rose she made a post on her story about the whole calling CPS is illegal, and you know, so many people are going to call CPS. That's when I knew she had the baby. That's when I had a funny feeling that she had already had the baby when she started panicking about CPS. But I do want to state this. I know so many people are worried about that baby. So many people are. Do not call CPS because you don't feel like she should be able to have custody of her baby. That is not a good reason to call CPS. You're going to overwhelm them, and when there really is a problem, they're not going to take it seriously. So I'm out here. I know a lot of people are like, are we going to call CPS? When are we doing this? Ivy Rose is not. Number one, a child in the system doesn't necessarily have a better life than a child in her home. Christy, I do not like Christy. I do not like Rod. However, Christy has raised me and Dylan pretty well, in my opinion, if I'm going to be honest. And so you also have to remember Ken is a parent to that child, as well as Raina is a grandmother to that child. To sit there and call CPS unnecessarily is not cool. The system is not always the best option. That child, people looking over it, regardless of whether we like them or not. Now, I don't know Gypsy's intentions. I would hope that she would never hurt her baby, but she is a convicted murderer. So I don't know. But I do know Christy did right by her own children. And I do know the baby's got a father and a grandmother, a paternal grandmother. And so please do not call CPS because you don't like her. That is not a good enough reason. And God forbid one day a phone call really needs to be made for them because there is a potential situation. They are not going to acknowledge it as seriously because just like when she went out on parole and you had Naomi calling parole every 10 minutes and all these people calling parole every 10 minutes, they stopped taking it seriously. They stopped listening. And again, what happens if she gets her baby taken away? It's going to end up in a system. Do you guys remember what happened to the Turpin children? They were taken away from their parents. They were put in foster care, and then they were abused again by the system in foster care. The system is not always a better place for a child. So I am asking you that please do not call because you don't like her. I will stick with that. I do not believe that that child at the moment is in any physical danger or there's any physical threat to that child.
I
Now,
agree.
emotionally, an awful lot of threat to the kid, but physically, nobody is going to let. I am a grandmother. I would never let my child hurt my grandchild. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a mother. I would never let my husband or the father do anything to that child. So, and that's the same way Ken is feeling, I'm sure. So please do not go and call CPS because all you're doing is taking away the seriousness if there is ever an issue and should somebody ever need to call for them.
Exactly.
And again, the system is not always what's best for that baby. You could be wanting to do good for that baby, but it can be harming that baby as well. And so, you know, I don't like Gypsy Rose, but I do agree with her in that stance, and I will say that.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I 100% agree with you. Like, I don't like, I mean, obviously nobody here likes Gypsy Rose, but just because you don't like someone doesn't mean you should just, you know, like, I wouldn't sit here and call the police on her if she actually hasn't done anything, even if I don't like her. And in all fairness, I do respect Raina because I think out of all the parties, you know, that we mentioned, she's honestly the one I would trust the most with the baby.
Yeah.
Definitely because she doesn't have any shadiness to her. She genuinely seems like, you know, like she's genuinely like a good person. You know, like I 100% respect Raina. Yeah, I agree. Don't just call CPS because you don't like Gypsy. Only call it if you actually what she's actually doing is a problem to the child, because then that way it's safe for everyone involved, and you're not just calling just to do that, because that's not exactly a good way to handle. Like, I'm someone who's very, very pessimistic and scared for this baby's upbringing, but I'm not going to sit there and call CPS based on a feeling of pessimism that I have towards like this notion of what I think's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, you have to have receipts, and that's what the whole big deal is. Like, if you call and terrorize CPS or you call and terrorize, you know, parole, whatever, like Ivory was saying before, and the other one, which I'm not looking at the name, code. What ends up happening is, like I said, they won't listen. Like I said, you have to have proof, and the only people going to have that proof are the people who are around her every day that a lot of us don't say. And so, like I said, the situation might not be any different because I don't know if anyone's ever been in foster care, but like you get basically either stuck in a situation where you don't have a family or you get ported in between different families that either it works out or it doesn't, and it's mentally traumatic to a child. It's not a situation you want to put them in. Like I said, so there are other people part of the family that are going to be a watch over Gypsy at that given point. I mean, Christine Rod and Raina and anybody else. So I'm sure nothing dumb is going to happen from it. Like,
I agree. And I'm not a fan of Christy and Rod. You guys know how I feel about Christy. I probably dislike Christy more than I dislike Gypsy. But in all fairness, though, when you know, you have to sit there and be honest with yourself when you're talking. In all fairness, Dylan and Mia ended up well raised. No, you got to give credit where credit's due. I don't like her, but her children were raised well, and she did right by her children.
Exactly.
So,
They're all involved.
I don't believe anybody. And Susan made a comment before. She said, yes, but Raina is so very far away. Yes, but, we may not like Ken because he chose Gypsy or he cheated. You know what I mean? Like, he took Ryan's wife. But, there is a bond from a parent to a child. And I don't see Ken harming his child.
No.
I don't see Rod harming his biological grandchild. You know what I mean? So there are people more than just Raina. Ken is is Raina's son. So if Raina would do good by Ken's child, so will Ken, because Ken was raised by Raina, and he would know how to. You know what I mean? So you got to give them. I would love to be like, oh yeah, I could see her hurting a baby, guys. I really don't. If I'm going to be honest.
No, there's just too many people around, and if anyone were to say anything, it would be the family if they disagreed with something. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said just leave it where it is. Like I said, we can have the hatred for Gypsy Rose or anybody all we want, but let things evolve the way they're going to evolve, and all you can do is sit back and watch. If anything comes to it, I'm sure we'll hear about it. You know what I'm saying?
Guys,
will
don't
hear
call
about it.
CPS on the reborn doll. Come on.
Right? We will hear about it, but we're not going to be the ones that call CPS, because like every other parent who puts their child on social media, you saw, what's her name, Frankie lady, like all of these social media parents, and the Turpins did it too. These kids, oh, look at how sweet they are, look how cute they are, and then you don't know what happens behind the scenes. We're never going to know what happens behind their scenes.
Exactly.
It's going to be someone in the family that calls, if there is a call, because they're not going to show us that they're hurting a child or harming a child. And kids get scrapes and bruises. I'm going to be honest, mine always did. And what are you going to do? Call CPS every time the kid has a, like a bump on her head because she walked into a wall, because they do that, or fell off a couch, or So if you really truly care about that baby, just know that it may not be Gypsy, but there is family out there that's going to watch that baby. That baby is under scrutiny right now by a lot of people. You have, and that baby is being watched. And so, like, I would not just call, because one day someone may need to call, and we're going to be crying wolf.
Exactly. Don't ruin the situation. Just leave it be as is. Be smart about it. Because if it were your child, God forbid, if it were your child and that was happening to you, you'd be in hell too. You know what I'm saying? So let things be the way it be. Have your hatred towards the people you have hatred for your reasons, but leave the child alone. That's what I say.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
And you never know. I don't even want to say this, but maybe this will be the thing that changes her.
It might be.
You know what I mean? This could be the thing. And you know what? As much as I don't like her, and I think everything she's done up until this point in her life makes her a horrible person, I pray to God that maybe this is the thing that changes her, because we are all looking for her to change and become a decent human being. We all are looking for her to finally take accountability, take responsibility, and we have this expectation of the person we want her to be, and hopefully, possibly, maybe having this baby makes her into that person. And so that's what I hope for 2025, is that she changes who she is, and she becomes somebody who takes accountability, responsibility, and becomes a decent human being. That's all we can ask for, and that's all we expect. We're not going to undo everything she's done to this point. It can't happen.
No.
But this could be the one thing. Maybe she'll love that baby so much she's not going to want to risk lying, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, because she doesn't want her child. I would guarantee she would not want her child to live like she did in her childhood. You know what I'm saying? So she's going to treat that child the best way she can, in her own way, not in the way her mother might have, if you want to use that. But you don't have to. We don't know the real truth of that. But as far as our concern is, she will treat her better than she was treated, and maybe that will be the iron in the fire that will make her change a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
That's what we can hope for, at least.
Yeah.
Do I foresee that? Maybe, but that's at least what I'm going to hope for in 2025. I think Gypsy Rose has put the Petrie family, has put the Go to John family, has put so many people through hell.
Mm-hmm.
She has put, and it's going to come back to her. Karma is going to come back to her.
Absolutely, and then we'll have to deal with it as that comes. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
hope in tune of what she's doing. Let's see how long it lasts and see where it goes. But karma, unfortunately, I said it before, I'll say it again, is going to bite her because there's too much information flowing on the interwebs. Everyone's finding out truth in information. Enough of it gets out of there, and no offense, it's not going to last long. Like my curiosity is, I want to see what happens when she gets out of Parole. That's my curiosity. Because she noticed noted in one of her videos, I'm not going to be on Parole very much longer if she's brushing her hair. So what the hell did that mean?
I
Did
was
that mean
almost right. But that's what I mean about maybe motherhood will simmer her down, and you know what I mean? Maybe she'll look into, like I said, maybe she'll look into that baby's eyes every day and realize what she did, and it'll take her off her high horse a little bit.
See, I think the best thing for her is to get off social media and just concentrate on her. This is a suggestion. Concentrate on her child and whoever she decides to be with. Because the more she's not in the limelight, the more friggin' fuel we won't have to attack. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that'll be something, that would work out in the end. You know what I'm saying? But the more she goes out there and keeps promoting the book of lies and everything else and making up stories to make herself look like something she is or she isn't, is only going to stir the shit pot, so to say. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that would be a smart idea if you're listening, Gyp.
Right. Megan says the only way she will change is therapy and acceptance of her personality disorder and learn coping skills to exist in relation to others. I agree. Fortunately, therapy doesn't help people who don't admit they have a problem. So really for her, it's really just all about, she has to learn that she has a problem. Maybe this will do it to her. Maybe she'll have some postpartum psychosis where she breaks and learns and realizes she actually has some kind of psychological issue. But unfortunately, at the moment, she doesn't believe she does. Therapy will do nothing for her. You can't therapy somebody who doesn't realize they have a problem.
Exactly. I mean, you got to understand all that stuff that happened back then till now. She has to live with on a daily. I mean, I can just imagine the bad dreams and the friggin' and all the thoughts of what could have happened, didn't happen, throughout the time since Dee Dee's leaving the existence till now. That's not something you can easily just, wash away. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if in turn she could immediately admit she's got a problem, needs help, and tries to get help from it, whatever, maybe she can change. But like I said, most people, like Ivory said, never realize they have a problem. You'd be told it all day long, but if you don't physically realize it, then you'll never. It's almost like when you try to help somebody, you can send somebody all the advice in the world. And I've said this multiple times. You can turn around and make the best plate of macaroni on the best looking plate and place it on the table, but you can't eat it for them. They have to realize on their own that they have to do it. Advice back and forth means nothing unless that person realizes it for themselves.
I agree. But on that note, guys, I just had somebody come to my door, so I got to end this. I will be on TikTok live later, guys. So if you guys want to catch me over there later on this evening, but I'm sorry to cut this short, guys. I have to go. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Archie, Codebox, and Jack. I appreciate you guys up here.
I appreciate you having us on.
I thank you to everybody in the chat, Miss Music and Wheel Kleiner, both of you. Thank you so much. And guys, I will talk to you later.
Have a good night. See you later.